Hey guys, in this video I want to talk a little bit about what you actually need as far as equipment and features and stuff. That's to say, if you're looking at a camera or lighting or whatever you're looking at, you know, what's important? And really that answer is not so simple as I can just make a list right now, because it depends on what you do. And I think that's important. If you think about some of these new camera releases that we have, today with the Canon just released their mirrorless system. Looks pretty interesting, right? Already there's talks about it only has one card slot. Okay, so you know that was a big deal with the Nikon. It seemed people were immediately saying that Nikon made the most terrible camera in the world, and photography business was over, and Nikon was going to crumble and fall off the earth and be sent into space. The reality is that some people need a second card slot or want a second card slot, and some people don't care. So that means that camera, if that feature is the deal breaker for you, then that camera is not for you. If it's something that you'd like to have, but it's not a deal breaker, well, then maybe you look at the rest of the features. And I think that's kind of the direction that you should really take when you're looking at equipment in general, right? Don't just buy things to buy them. Why are you even upgrading your camera? Do you need a new camera? Is it because your camera's beat up, or it's at the end of its life cycle, or do you need more features, or are you literally just buying it because it's cool and shiny and I want to do it? And that's a valid reason, but at the same time, depending on how necessary it is for you to have this new camera, that also can dictate how often or whatever you buy things, right? When something comes out that's new, you don't have to say, "Oh, I need this," if you don't need it. Right? You can just get something else. And if you need features from some other system or some other product, then you just buy that product. I see this a lot with video features, really. Wet my whistle there a little bit. If you think about it, I mean, now mostly everything has 4K in it, but early on, not everything shot 4K. And frankly, not that many people are delivering in 4K, relatively speaking. I'm sure that you're going to list below people that deliver in 4K. But the ability to shoot in 4K is huge, now. Like, clients don't know what it is, or they do know and they want it. So I would say that if I was buying a camera and my primary business was video, that would be something I'd look for. But maybe not. If I know my client and I know that they don't need that, then I wouldn't necessarily, look for that as a feature. So the other thing you might want to think about is slow motion, right? Slow motion is something that people, always harp on. Oh, this one has this slow motion or whatever, and it is super cool. Don't get me wrong. I love to be able to grab my camera and be like, oh, this can shoot super slow motion. I hardly ever do it. Very, very rarely do I shoot slow motion. And so for me, that would definitely not be a deal breaker. For me, if I mostly do interviews and I shoot myself and I do like tutorials, I don't shoot in slow motion. If the camera doesn't have slow motion, that's not going to be a deal breaker for me. In fact, if there's two options and one has it really good and one doesn't, and it's a significant price difference, I'm probably going to go with the one that doesn't, because like I said, I don't really use it. This is true. I mean, I mentioned this in the megapixels video, that you don't necessarily need all these megapixels depending on the work you do, and I think that's we have to start looking at things like that if we want to actually have an intelligent conversation about product. Like, I get that you get excited, or both negatively and positively, about things, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, it's like, well, do you need that or do you not need it? And then if so, okay, then move along. If not, and I think the real test is, would you pay for it? That's kind of how I look at it. Like, okay, if this camera exists, would you pay extra for that feature, or would you rather have the camera without that and pay less? And if you actually start evaluating features, I think a lot of people would remove things that are there that they just don't need. There's a lot of things that are not needed by everybody. I wish we could all custom build our cameras. That would be amazing, to just the features we want. I mean, but then there's other things that over time you don't even know you need, and then later on you start realizing they're super useful, like flip out screens for some people. When those first came out on cameras, they were on point and shoots first, right? When DSLRs first had them, there was a lot of talk about, oh, that's not going to be professional, they're going to break. I don't think we saw that much breakage of those. I mean, I didn't really notice it. Even live view was a relatively new thing early on. And now, of course, people shoot, I mean, you shoot mirrorless, you're shooting live view all the time. So I think that, you know, things transition and change, but as you're kind of adapting new technology, you want to really think to yourself, what is it that I need? And is it something that I want to pay money for? You know? So to me, another one that was coming up on the Canon camera was the stabilization. So Canon has their own stabilizer. It's called Movie Stable or something like that. It's a digital stabilization. It's pretty good. I mean, digital stabilization used to be the devil. This is pretty good from my experience with it, which is somewhat limited. But they have good stabilization in their lenses. So if you are a stills shooter and you don't necessarily need in-body stabilization, which I don't really use it much. I have it on a bunch of my lenses. I hardly ever use my stabilization in my lenses because I shoot on a tripod if I think that it's going to be shaky, because I can do that. So again, not that necessary for me. You know, that might not be a deal breaker, but when you start looking at the features and just like, oh, this one has that and this one doesn't have this one, this one has this feature. Well, do you need that? I mean, do you need 18 gazillion focus points? Maybe not. You know, do you need certain things? Maybe not. Other things? Yeah, you do. You know, one of the things I think is most interesting is people always complain about how fast cameras will shoot frames per second and stuff like that. I rarely see anybody shoot a camera with that. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just not around those people, but to me, most sport shooters I know don't hammer down the thing and shoot 12 frames per second, even though they can. It just isn't something that you'd normally do. It's more like, oh, that's awesome, but okay. So again, that handful of people that needs that extra few frames per second, you got it, right? On some cameras. If you don't need it, you don't need it, right? And it doesn't mean the camera isn't good or the product isn't worthwhile. It just means it's not the one for you. So an example too would be sometimes you don't need the best is that I am actually, I'm using the Mevo right now, which I'll put in the description, the little live streamer. But I also use Sling Studio, which I'm going to do a kind of a breakdown of these two things eventually, guys. And for the Sling Studio, you hook cameras to it. And I use a Sony 6500, and I also use my Canon for a second camera, sometimes my phone. But I've decided that I want it to match better. So when I'm going to my editing, it's easier to make it match. So I'm going to buy a second Sony. So I was looking at the A7 III and talking to my guys, and they actually, after evaluating everything I need it for, they were like, you should just get another 6500 or whatever the replacement's going to be for that camera, because you don't need all these extra features that you're getting with the A7 III if you're not going to use it for this, and this. And I guess I've been around long enough to know kind of what I'm going to use it for, and I know that I'm not going to use it for certain things. So for me, yeah, I'll save $700, $800, whatever, and get the less expensive camera because that does the job I need it to do. And I think that's true of all things in photo. Flashes, do you need it to recycle super fast? Do you need it to have a certain battery life? Do you need it to have high-speed sync? If you don't need these features for the work that you do, then you don't need to spend the money on it because you can do great work with whatever. And in fact, most of the work that I do, I don't need a lot of megapixels. I don't need super short flash durations. I don't need really fast recycling. But it's good to have, and if I can afford the equipment that does it and I use it sometimes, then I do it. I do enough demos where I show splashes and stuff like that it was worthwhile for me to invest in lights and stuff that have short flash duration. But for my regular fashion catalog work, I used acute packs forever, and they have terrible flash duration compared to other pro photo stuff because nobody's moving. It's a freaking catalog. It's like, it's easy. That's what you got to do, right? You got to evaluate everything that you're looking at and evaluate it under your lens, not the lens of some reviewer online that claims to be an expert, that reads the specs and puts them next to each other and says this camera has that or that one doesn't have that. You know what? Ultimately, who cares what they say? What matters is whether or not it does the thing that you need it to do. So buy what you need, and don't feel like you need to spend more or wait or do whatever if something isn't exactly what you want. And as far as equipment goes, use what you got. I also was thinking about this because somebody put a comment somewhere, and I can't remember which one it was on because I forgot my piece of paper. And they said, I have I think a Nikon 3400 if you're that person. I'm addressing you now. And can't do some of the things you want to do. Well, frankly, the most common camera I'm shooting with right now, because I gave back the Hasselblad, is a D1X. And honestly, I put it in manual. And yeah, it's a $7,000 camera, but there's almost nothing that I do with that camera that you can't do with a 3400. Now, if I was going out and shooting, you know, in really tough terrain and things and whatever, yeah, it's better for that kind of stuff, and it can take a beating, and it shoot really fast and long battery life. But if you're talking about making photos in a studio environment, basic DSLR can do a great job if you know how to use it. So you're better off learning how to use your equipment than you are spending more money for more features that you're never ever going to use. You probably see me, if you watch any of my other stuff, especially my live stuff, I often joke, and I'm being somewhat serious when I say it, I don't usually like read the manual or look through the menus on these cameras. That's why sometimes I'm like, hold on, I don't know how to do that. Because I just literally put it in manual and shoot with it. Like, I don't use all those features. So for me, you know, they're normally not that important. They might be for you. And if they are, then hey, then vote that way, basically. Vote with your wallet, right? Buy the thing that you think is best, and that will make the manufacturers make more of those things. So don't just get online and bitch if you're never going to buy it anyways. That's not going to change anything. Buy the other thing, because that's how competition works. So I do think, I don't know if I mentioned this already, I do think that tomorrow, today's the 5th, is they're going to be doing a live, if you happen to be in New York, they're going to be doing a live hands-on thing with the new Canon camera. So I may go take a peek at that. And I don't know if they're streaming it or not, but I'll try to bring my phone and try to do like a little thing. I'll give my opinion on it, as much of an opinion I can give for 5 minutes with the camera. Honestly, I think it's probably fine. I think the Nikon's probably fine too. You know, I think they're all going to be okay. You know, I think that everybody has something behind them that's interesting. And I think that if you like a certain product, you shouldn't feel like you can't like it because the cool kids online are telling you it's not good. You know, go ahead and use what you like. Make great pictures. Let me know in the comments, by the way, because I'm curious about this. I'd love to see a list of features. Like, tell me what you use the most in your camera. Is it the 4K video? Is it the slow motion? Is it the 2 card slots? Is it the, you know, stabilization? Is it the whatever? Tell me the features that you use the most. Like features, not obviously f-stop and stuff. I know that. I'm just curious as to what kind of features are the most important. And also let me know what else you guys want me to talk about. Like I said, I'm going to try to be doing these more often. Whenever I can sneak away for a coffee, a few times a week anyways. I'm going to try to stick tech stuff like product info and stuff like that on Fridays, so on the lookout for that. I got one coming up this Friday with I've already recorded, I'm just editing it now, about some tips, 5 items that will help you out in the studio. You know, there aren't like your lights and camera and stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already. Hit the little bell so you get notifications, and I'll see you next time.